Hey guys, I'm glad you're here. Maybe you've had a long day, or maybe your mind is still wandering even though your body wants rest. Either way, you're safe, you're here, and you're exactly where you're meant to be. So take a slow breath and let your shoulders loosen just a little. Tonight, we're stepping into one of the calmest mysteries in the universe. The strange, gentle truth that time doesn't tick at the same speed for everyone, everywhere. You've probably lived your whole life believing that 1 second is always 1 second, no matter where you are or what you're doing. But the universe, in its quiet way, has other ideas. Time is not a rigid line. It bends, it stretches, it slows. It even changes its pace depending on how you move and how gravity holds you. Time, in a sense, is like soft fabric, flexible, flowing, changing shape depending on the weight placed upon it. And here's the beautiful part. Your life is part of that flexibility. Your body, your memories, your experiences, all shaped by a universe where time is not a strict rule, but a gentle rhythm. Tonight we'll explore why time moves differently depending on where you are. We'll drift through mountain peaks and black holes, through starlight and motion, through paradoxes and quiet cosmic truths. But we won't rush. Time certainly isn't rushing. Each idea will unfold like a slow wave, carrying you closer to rest, curiosity, and maybe a tiny smile here and there. If you're ready, we'll begin. The universe is waiting patiently. Time, after all, is never in a hurry. Time is not the steady, predictable thing it appears to be. It feels solid, because your clocks insist on it, because your calendar pretends it controls it, because your daily routine gives you the illusion that every second is identical to the one before. But the universe doesn't obey clocks, or calendars, or alarms. If anything, those are our attempts to tame something far more fluid. Einstein was the one who gently unveiled this to us. Before he arrived, scientists believed time flowed like water from a perfect fountain. Smooth, even, unstoppable. Einstein quietly suggested, actually, time depends. It depends on your speed. It depends on your gravity. It depends on your environment. It depends on where you stand in the universe's grand landscape. Time, he said, is woven into space itself. They're one fabric, space-time. And because space can stretch or bend, time stretches and bends along with it. Imagine a trampoline. If no one stands on it, it's perfectly flat. But put a heavy object in the center and the surface curves. Now roll a marble across it. It won't move in a straight line. It will follow the curve. Time behaves the same. Gravity creates curves. Motion stretches the fabric. And time responds to both. If time really is a fabric, then your daily life is basically wearing a space-time sweater. Hopefully it fits better than half the clothes you ordered online. The idea that time changes its pace isn't just theory. We have measured it. Every day, GPS satellites orbiting Earth actually experience time slightly faster than humans on the ground because they're farther from Earth's gravity. So engineers constantly adjust the satellite's clocks. If they didn't, your Google Maps would send you confidently into rivers, forests, or possibly your neighbor's backyard. So even the technology you use relies on the fact that time is not constant. It flows differently depending on where you are. Speaking of you, let me ask you something gently. Have you ever had a moment in life when time felt different? Slower, softer, or strangely stretched? Maybe that was time showing you its true flexible nature. To understand why time stretches, imagine gravity not as a force pulling you down, but as a hand resting gently on the fabric of space-time. The heavier the object, the deeper the hand presses. The deeper the press, the slower time flows. Not dramatically, not in a way you'd ever notice while tying your shoes or making tea, but slowly, quietly, like the hush of a low tide. When you stand at sea level, you are closer to Earth's mass, and gravity is stronger. Time moves slightly slower for you. When you stand at the top of a tall mountain, gravity is a little weaker, and time runs a bit faster. We're talking tiny differences, fractions of a second, but differences that accumulate across billions of years. If you lived on Mount Everest your whole life, you'd quietly age a whisper faster than someone living near the beach. Not enough for anyone to notice, but enough for the universe to keep track. Now imagine something heavier than mountains, stars, neutron stars, and the densest objects of all, black holes. Near them, gravity presses so deeply into space-time that time itself begins to slow, like syrup sliding down glass. But even here on Earth, every moment of your life is influenced by gravity's quiet hand. Your heartbeat, your memories, your sense of passing hours, all shaped by the gentle curvature beneath your feet. What's strangely comforting is that you don't have to do anything for this to happen. Time adjusts itself around you automatically. You're simply moving through a universe that's always tuning itself, adjusting its rhythm to match where you are. And perhaps that's why time feels different depending on your mood. Not scientifically, of course, but emotionally. Our inner clocks behave like mirrors of the outer universe, sometimes steady, sometimes stretched, sometimes melting softly into the moment. We will come back to that inner time later. For now, our journey drifts upward, beyond mountains, beyond the clouds, to a place where time begins freeing itself from Earth's gravity. Imagine an astronaut floating high above Earth, gliding through the quiet cradle of the International Space Station. From your viewpoint on the ground, days are filled with gravity tugging gently downward, but up there, astronauts are falling around Earth, experiencing weaker gravity and incredible speed. And because of that, time ticks differently for them. They age slightly slower than you. Not dramatically. They won't return home looking like they've discovered a secret fountain of youth. No one lands back on Earth and says, "Surprise! I'm 3 months younger than my twin." The difference is tiny, measured in milliseconds, but it's real, proven, measured, confirmed again and again. Astronauts live in a world where time is just a little more relaxed. Closer to Earth, time is anchored. Farther from Earth, time floats with you. There's something beautifully poetic about that, as though the universe rewards those who drift upward by giving them just a little extra time. Imagine you're up there, looking down on Earth. Cities glow like scattered jewels, oceans shimmer, clouds bloom and dissolve like slow-motion breath, and time simply lets go of you, just a bit. The astronaut experience is a reminder of a quiet truth. Your relationship with time depends on your environment more than your intuition. Here on the ground, time feels familiar, steady, predictable. In orbit, it becomes something softer, something that loosens its grip. You are living on a planet where time runs at one speed. Astronauts are living in a space where time runs at another, and both are true at the same moment. This is something the universe does effortlessly, allowing multiple tempos to exist at once, slow and fast, still and moving, bound and unbound. It makes you wonder gently, if time can change pace in different places, how different would your life feel if you could drift where time runs a little slower or a little faster? That question can sit quietly with you without needing an answer. Now our journey drifts toward one of the strangest, most mesmerizing places in the universe. Black holes. Not as frightening monsters, not as swirling doom, but as quiet wells where time sinks thick and slow, like honey sliding down a spoon. You've seen pictures of them, rings of light swirling shadows, but the truth is gentler than their reputation. A black hole doesn't chase, it doesn't hunt, it simply sits, silently bending space-time, letting gravity deepen and deepen until the very rhythm of the universe slows around it. Imagine yourself drifting near a black hole, not too close, just close enough to feel the difference. As you approach, time begins to drag. Your seconds stretch like warm taffy. Your heartbeat remains steady, but the universe around you slows. Light curves, space bends. Time itself becomes reluctant to move. To someone far away, watching from a safe distance, your movement would seem slower and slower and slower, as though you were sinking into molasses made of time. But to you, everything feels normal. Your thoughts stay natural, your breathing steady, your perception unchanged. Time always feels normal from the inside. That's the universe's kindness. It never tells you you're drifting into strange physics. It simply lets you be. Black holes remind us of something profound. The flow of time depends entirely on your perspective. Two observers can live in the same moment, the same universe, the same second, and experience completely different speeds of time. There's also a softness in knowing that the universe contains places where time slows to a crawl, places where the future stretches out into something nearly infinite, where moments become oceans, where a single second can bloom into an eternity of stillness. It makes you wonder gently, if time itself can stretch so dramatically near a black hole, how many different versions of now are happening all around you, even on Earth? Now, we leave gravity behind and step into the other great sculpture of time, speed. Einstein's second quiet revelation was that motion itself can stretch time. The faster you move, the slower time flows for you. This isn't sci-fi. This isn't imagination. This is measured reality. When particles race in particle accelerators, their lifetimes stretch. When fast-moving satellites orbit Earth, their clocks slow. The universe, in all its elegance, ties the pace of time to the pace of motion. Imagine running very fast, faster than any human ever has, faster than cars, faster than planes, so fast that the world becomes a blur of wind and color. At that speed, time would whisper to you, "You're moving quickly. Let me slow things down for you." If time really slowed dramatically for you when you run, then every athlete in the Olympics might technically be a time traveler. Not far, but still. In everyday life, the effect is minuscule. A person sprinting doesn't age noticeably slower than someone strolling, but when speeds approach the speed of light, time begins to stretch in remarkable ways. Imagine a spacecraft traveling near the speed of light. Inside, a year might pass. Outside, decades could drift by, or centuries, or even millennia. Motion becomes a tool, not for traveling in space, but for traveling in time. It's peaceful to realize that the universe is generous enough to offer multiple pathways through existence. Slow paths, fast paths, curved paths. Time is not a single road, it's a network of possibilities, and movement, gentle or swift, nudges your timeline into its own unique rhythm. If you think about your own life, some days move quickly, others stretch. Not because you're near light speed, of course, but because your mind, your emotions, your experiences shape your personal sense of time. If speed and gravity can shape time so easily, how many other unseen forces quietly shape the way your life feels, from one moment to the next? Let that thought rest with you. One of the most famous illustrations of time dilation is something physicists quietly call the twin paradox. But despite the name, it isn't truly a paradox. It's more like a gentle tale about two siblings and two different experiences of time. Imagine two twins sitting together one morning, sipping warm tea, enjoying sunlight drifting through the window. They feel identical, rooted in the same moment, the same timeline. Then one twin climbs into a spaceship, not a tiny fragile rocket, but a smooth, silent vessel, capable of near-light speeds. The kind of ship that moves with such grace that you feel like the universe is making space for you rather than resisting your motion. As the spaceship accelerates, time inside it slows. Not dramatically at first, just a tiny stretch, a lengthening of moments. Meanwhile on Earth, time continues marching at its usual rhythm, steady and familiar. The twin aboard the ship travels across the cosmos. Stars drift past like slow lanterns. Nebulae glow like gentle watercolor clouds. And time inside the ship moves at its own softened pace. When the travelling twin eventually returns home, something delicate has happened. The twin on Earth has aged more. The travelling twin has aged less. Not by minutes, not by hours, but by years. The universe doesn't choose sides. It simply follows its own rules. Motion slows time. Two people can leave the same moment together, yet return to different futures. It's almost poetic, as though time offers each person a customized path, shaped by how they move through space. And that leads to a soft, almost dreamlike thought. If two journeys can lead to different timelines, then perhaps every choice you make subtly shapes the way you move through time too. Not literally, of course, but emotionally, psychologically, spiritually. The way your inner time flows is woven into the choices you make, the paths you take, the pace you carry within you. The twin paradox reminds you that existence has flexibility built into its structure. There's no single speed at which life must unfold, no universal tempo you are required to match. You move at the pace meant for you. Now we drift backward, not through your memories, not through human history, but through cosmic history itself. Picture the universe in its earliest moments, a newborn reality, still warm from creation, still pulsing with energy. Space had barely cooled, matter barely formed, and the first stars were only distant possibilities. In those early epochs, time flowed differently, not because of speed, not because of motion, but because the entire universe was wrapped tightly around itself. Gravity was unimaginably strong. Particles were packed closer than grains in a handful of sand. Every force, every interaction, every collision happened more rapidly than anything we know today. Time then was dense, compressed, like breath held in the chest before exhaling. Moments unfolded quickly, yet paradoxically, felt strangely stretched on the cosmic scale. As the universe expanded, everything changed. Gravity loosened. Space unfurled like fabric being drawn open. Light finally escaped after hundreds of thousands of years trapped in cosmic fog. And time softened. It lost its density. It elongated. It began flowing in the gentler rhythm you know now. There's a quiet comfort in that. Even the universe had a childhood where things felt intense, fast, overwhelming, and it eventually relaxed into a calmer pace. It makes you realize that transitions from pressure to peace are woven into the cosmos. You're not the only one who's ever needed to slow down. The universe itself did too. Some scientists say that early time was so strange, so compressed that 1 second back then contained more events than thousands of years contain today, which is slightly amusing, because it means even the universe had a phase where it tried to do too much, too quickly, a cosmic overachiever in its youth. Now, it drifts, expands, unfurls slowly, quietly. If the universe itself learned to slow down, soften, and stretch time into a gentler flow, is it possible that you too are allowed to slow down without feeling guilty about it? Let that thought rest with you. If you look far enough ahead, far beyond tomorrow, far beyond the next century, far beyond the entire lifetime of the stars, you arrive at a version of the universe where time feels almost completely still. Not because nothing exists, but because everything has stretched so wide, so thin, so gently, that moments barely brush against each other. The future of the universe is slow, peacefully slow, softly slow, softly slow. Right now, galaxies swirl like cosmic whirlpools, their stars orbiting in grand spirals that take hundreds of millions of years to complete. But trillions of years from now, even those motions will drift into stillness. Stars will burn through their fuel. New stars will form more rarely. Gravity will continue pulling galaxies apart as the universe expands faster and faster. Time will keep stretching. Events will grow farther apart. Moments will begin to feel like islands floating in an ocean of silence. Eventually, long after every star you know has faded, long after even the black holes have completed their slow evaporation. The universe will enter a period cosmologists call heat death, a strange name for something so calm. It's not destruction, it's not collapse, it's simply rest. A state where energy is evenly spread everywhere. Nothing changes quickly anymore. Nothing pulls or pushes. Everything reaches equilibrium. In that far future universe, time continues, but so gently that almost nothing seems to happen from moment to moment. It's like the universe is taking one long, deep exhale, a cosmic sigh, a soft settling into stillness. It's comforting to realize that even the entire cosmos has a moment where rushing ends, where movement slows, where expansion becomes a quiet drift. The universe lives fast when it's young, and slow when it's old, just like every living thing. And thinking about that, you might notice a soft truth slipping in. Speed is not the natural state of existence. Rest is. The future of the universe is serene, not dramatic, not violent, not frightening, just peaceful. A universe finally done with its tasks, a universe ready for stillness, a universe at ease. And that rhythm, fast beginnings, slow endings, is the same rhythm your life follows. Moments of rush and moments of rest, moments of intensity and moments of quiet, moments where time feels dense and moments where it feels feather light. Across cosmic time, slowing down is not unusual. It's inevitable, natural, essential. Now we drift from cosmic time to the time that lives inside you. Your brain doesn't measure time the way a clock does. It measures it with feelings, sensations, memories. 2 minutes spent in joy feel like seconds. 2 minutes spent in worry feel like an hour. An entire afternoon in nature can pass like a gentle blink, but a single moment of stress can stretch like elastic. Your internal clock stretches and compresses just as the universe stretches and compresses space-time. When you're relaxed, your brain stops tracking every detail. Moments slide by more smoothly, more quietly. Time feels soft. When you're anxious, your mind races. You notice every sound, every breath, every passing second. Time feels sharp. Your inner world has its own version of time dilation, and it responds to your emotions the way cosmic time responds to gravity. When life feels heavy, when responsibilities stack like layers of stone, your time slows, not physically, but experientially. When life feels light, when joy lifts you like warm air, your time moves freely. The universe shows you two kinds of time: cosmic time, the grand architecture of space-time, and lived time, the quiet rhythm inside your mind. Even your memories behave like physicists. They stretch, edit, bend, and occasionally delete whole days as if they're cleaning up storage space. Your inner time is creative, flexible, alive. If your inner sense of time can change so naturally, is it possible that the softness you feel right now, this deep, drifting calm, is your mind quietly choosing the slower, kinder rhythm it needed all along? Let that question rest with you without needing an answer, because right now, time, both inside and outside you, has already slowed. As our journey into time dilation reaches its final stretch, there's one truth the universe leaves for you, quietly, kindly, without trying to impress or overwhelm you. Time is not something you must chase, or control, or keep up with, or perfectly manage. Time is something you move through at your own rhythm. There is no universal pace you must match, no cosmic stopwatch ticking over your shoulder, no hidden expectation to be faster, better, more efficient. The universe itself has countless tempos. Black holes slow time. Galaxies drift at their own pace. Neutron stars spin in fractions of a second. Atoms vibrate in patterns too fast to see. Planets orbit in long, gentle arcs. And human beings, they would move through time in the way your life, your experiences, and your heart require. Einstein showed that time bends and stretches, but life shows that time feels different depending on how deeply you're living. A moment of genuine peace can last forever. A moment of stress can feel like an eternity. A moment of connection can stay in your chest long after the clocks forget it. Time does not belong to the universe. It belongs to you. Your experience of it, how you breathe through it, how you remember it, how you soften into it, is uniquely yours. Not even a clock can take that from you. The physics of time dilation explains the outer universe, but your memories, feelings, and quiet reflections explain your inner universe. Both are equally real. Both shape the world you move through. Both tell you something essential. You are not required to rush. Time will meet you where you are, and right now it's meeting you in softness. Your thoughts are slower. Your breath is calmer. Your awareness floats rather than grips. Even the universe doesn't maintain one pace. So why should you? Even if you somehow spent your whole life aging a fraction slower or faster than everyone else, the paperwork at the end would still be confusing for everybody, which is the universe's way of saying, don't worry about it. If time can bend, stretch, slow, and soften, what would it feel like to give yourself permission to move through life at the pace that truly feels kind to your heart? Let the question float outward like quiet stardust. You can feel yourself settling into a calmer space, lighter than before, fuller, somehow more at peace. You've traveled through black holes, galaxies, early universes, future universes, and your own mind. And still you are here, breathing quietly, resting in the soft glow of now. You don't need to remember the science. You don't need to hold on to the ideas. You don't need to make sense of anything. All you need is this feeling, the slow, warm comfort of knowing that time isn't rigid, and neither are you. You're allowed to rest. You're allowed to slow down. You're allowed to drift into sleep at your own rhythm. The universe will keep moving at its pace. You can keep moving at yours. And if your eyelids are heavier now, if your thoughts are softer, if the world feels a little quieter, that means you've already begun slipping into a gentler form of time. The kind that carries you, the kind that comforts you, the kind that asks nothing from you except to relax. So let yourself drift, let yourself breathe, let the night cradle you, and let time, your time, slow down just for you. Good night,